Good afternoon, everyone. I'm hoping my voice permits me to stay on task with the video. I've been really sick with a cold lately. Today's video is going to be about the Idaho 4. I will not be doing a spirit session as I spoke of before in my video. I was asked to do it by numerous people, and I had stated about a month or two, well, it would be 2 months now, that I would not be doing a session, but I do feel like it has to do with two of the young ladies with the blonde hair. Excuse me for not remembering their names. I'm not too keen on the case. I was just going to pop on here and give my opinion and my regard to what I feel comes through when I was given their pictures. The man that had committed the murders, I do believe, was obsessing over one of the young ladies. I believe her last name is Gonzalez. There are two blonde-haired young ladies that are really connected, are really, in the pictures that I've been shown, what I get from the pictures, the two blonde-haired young ladies are very connected in friendship. They're very connected with emotion and feeling. The person that had taken their lives, he is a sociopath. He has no remorse. He thinks he is smarter than the police. He has made a lot of mistakes. How I feel when I look at the pictures, what comes through for me is that he's very non-remorseful. For me, that's a sociopathic tendency. He has no, like, for me, I feel like he committed these murders and went home and went on about his daily life as if there was nothing going on. I'm going to move on to the way he took their lives. And when you have someone that obsesses over someone and has a mental instability, they usually fixate on one person. For me, the girl with the last name Gonzalez is who he would have been fixating on. To him, he was rejected in some way by her or the group of kids that were murdered. There are no blamings here. In his mind, he was right and they were wrong. They did absolutely nothing wrong to be murdered. No one deserves to be murdered. In his mind, he was rejected in some way. His psychosis, he was rejected. So when you have a psychosis like that, you are reliving things that don't even occur in your mind, let alone in the outside world. Excuse me, I want to take that back. That don't occur in the outside world, but within his mind, it was a thing that was going on and going on and going on. He was like replaying details that didn't happen. So that is a form of mental illness. He was very subjective to behavior that is, to me, there's no talking to him. He had to be right all the time, no matter if it's wrong. In the vision that I saw from the picture, to me, when he had hurt these young people, yes, it's a rageful killing, but when, like I said, when you take someone's life in that way, it's connected to a form of displacement, as in betrayal of some sort, disillusion of being rejected. So in his mind, he was rejected by them, or by her specifically, even though they did absolutely nothing wrong. They are the victims here, not him. In his mind, he played this like a playback in his mind, how they wronged him, how they hurt him, how they made him feel inadequate. When you have a killing like this as well, you have somebody that has to know their every step, where they're at every moment, what their favorite food is, what they like to eat, what they like to drink, where they study, where they go for gas, where they go grocery shopping. So this was a very planned thing. This man made sure he followed, he stalked, he prayed, and then finally went in for the kill, sadly. He had to have known all this in order to know exactly where they would be, to know exactly what time to do it. I also got a sense of a dog would be barking in the closest proximities of the home. Like, some of the neighbors would have been woken by a dog being barking, because the dogs knew he was there. They sensed what was going on. Also, the word DoorDash came through. Now, I mean, DoorDash, I know what that is. Obviously, everyone does. But for me, I feel like that's a connection to where this comes into play in some way. DoorDash doesn't mean he delivered DoorDash. It could mean they ordered DoorDash a lot. It also can mean the symbolization of food, which he could have saw one of the girls that he started to obsess over at a place where she was eating with her friends. For me, that would be the first sign of, that's where he first saw the obsession, and the obsession began. A lot of people go out to eat. A lot of people are always around you when you eat. At restaurants, you're in close proximity. So my first thought is, he first saw them while they were out eating, and that's where his obsession became a reality. That's when he started obsessing over who she was, where she could live, who she is, who are her friends in her circle. This, for me, was a symbolization of where it started somewhat. To murder somebody in that way, he was a compulsive, obsessive, narcissistic, sociopathic, I'm going to call him a moron, because one, he thought he could get away with this, but he clearly hasn't. I will say moron, because you are a moron if you think you're going to murder 4 people and get away with it. You made a mistake somewhere, and the police will find it. The rejection part, for me, I don't feel that these kids rejected him out of cruelness. I think in his mind, he was rejected. Maybe he had reached out to them, or to the one that I keep referring back to. To me, it's very obsessive with her and her only. But he obsessed with the whole group because he wanted to know where she was at all times. So for me, he wasn't just obsessing over her. He had to know what she was doing, wanted to know who she was with, where was she eating, what was she drinking, where was she studying, who was she partying with. College kids always party. That's just an inevitable thing. That's not a wrong thing. They're living their life. They're experiencing life. But for him, he never was somebody that experienced a group setting of a social acceptance. From young age to now. And for him, in his mind, he never could fit in. He never So he thought he could outsmart people and try to get away with what he got away with, but he hasn't gotten away with it. I'm assuming the man that I'm speaking of is the one in jail. I have seen his face. I do also feel a strong connection to him, and like I said, the stalking and praying, for me, there would have been some sort of hang-up calls, some sort of, I'm hearing emails, messages somehow, something to that nature, to where he had to hear her voice. He had to message to see if she would talk back to him. Did she, did she answer him back? I don't know, because I don't have that information, because I haven't spoken to her or any of them in spirit form. I feel that this case will be solved by the police. I do feel it will go accordingly. I try not to involve myself in cases where the person's already caught. He definitely would have been a certain way growing up, and people took notice to it. So for anybody to say that they didn't notice anything about him, he went unnoticed with some sort of behavior, that would be a no-go, because someone out there knows there was a situation that might have happened with him in their presence, and they would have thought, this doesn't feel right, something's not right with him. That does not go unnoticed. So therefore, there is somebody out there. That could be his parents, I don't know. That could be a friend or a girl that he might have liked growing up. There is somebody out there that knows that feeling with him. It's very realistic, and it's very it's in a form of, they felt it, they're using their instincts, and it would have been a happening with them, with him. He would have done something strange to make them uncomfortable, maybe obsessive in an area, or became really obsessive over a friend or a girl he's never really been with. So it's kind of like a replay. So he probably couldn't fit into this circle. He probably couldn't, he probably felt like he couldn't ever be on her level once he thought that he was denied access to their life or her life. To me, this is a letdown, because if you feel like you have to murder some people out of what you thought was going on, that tells me his mental health has always been a problem. And you're telling me nobody noticed that his mental health was unstable at all in his life period? So this could have been avoided in some way. For the case, I don't know when he will be in court, but you guys are absolutely more than welcome to comment under here. I also had, I had a phone call come through. So back to what I was saying. There would have to have been some sort of part of his life where somebody noticed a behavior with him that shouldn't have gone unnoticed, because it's a mental health issue where he really thought it was okay to murder 4 people. Then that tells me something about his childhood. Now, regarding his court case, someone had messaged me saying the court case is soon, but I've already seen his picture. I don't need to see his picture, and I don't need to know when the court case is, because I'm not doing the case. I just wanted to give my psychic input on it, as well as for him, the murder weapon that he used, I had seen a knife that had jagged edges on the bottom, and it was in pristine condition. It was very clean cut. It was very you would use this maybe for hunting, or it was like a hunter using the hunter using the the weapon to hunt. It was very, and I had seen a vision of his feet and his legs standing in the darkness. So does that represent the home, or does that represent him always have been there and no one ever taking notice? That was the two things that I tried to put together. And for me, I feel like that's a two-part question that I felt I needed to know, because he would have moved around in the apartment or house or wherever they lived in a way to where he's been there before. He had to have snuck in there before to know the whereabouts of who lived where, what room was whose. To me, this isn't a one-time thing. He would have had to have known the blueprints of the home. He would have had to have known whose bedroom was who, where the living room was, who was there, how many people were in and out. I hear the word untouched. Untouched and victim. So for me, that's he had to have been in that house or apartment before, and possibly when they were out and about and they weren't home, to know exactly what he needed to have planned. And then standing in the darkness with his shoes and his long legs, for me, was another gesture and symbol of, if you're trying to understand what I'm trying to say here, it's almost like when you watch a movie and there's things going all around you and you take no notice to it. And people are laughing and chatting, and they could be sitting at a table in a restaurant, and you don't realize there's a creepo sitting right next to you, and they're paying attention to every single thing you do, basically standing in the shadows. And I feel like he's always been standing in the shadows, watching her, watching them for a long period of time. He knew where to go. He knew how to get in. He knew probably what they ate, what they drank, where they studied, where they partied, what they drove. He probably knew about weird things like doctor's appointments and where their parents lived. And he had to have mapped this out very, very good. This is a, what you would call, he literally knew where to go and what to do. So I just wanted to give my input on this, and I keep getting interrupted by phone calls, so I'm just going to end the video. I'm sorry. And I wanted to get this up so people would stop asking, not in a rude sense, but I could give my input and be done with it. Sadly, 4 people have lost their life for what? Nothing. For some person that is psychologically imbalanced and went under the radar, and no one talked about his mental illness, because that should not have went unnoticed. That is a very, very clear as day thing. I could see it right by looking at his picture. So everybody have a great day. I will get back up. I am actually going to be placing up another video about what it's like to have multiple psychic mediums in one place that live together. And after that, I'll be off for a while again, and then I'll see you guys soon for my live, okay? Everybody have a great day. Thank you.